Around about January 2023, I discovered Project Wingman. At the time, all I had to run it on was an old laptop that could maybe sometimes run Team Fortress 2 at 25 FPS if it felt like it, so I watched playthroughs of it instead of playing it. I often considered making a video like this about it since I liked it so much, but how could I make a video on a game I hadn't actually played? Well, it's been nearly 2 years. Last month I moved away from home to go to uni, which means I now have a new laptop and a spare £100 as a moving present. Moving to university was a big step to make, my first real step towards becoming an adult. So, as a mature and responsible teenager, I decided to save that £100 and... no, that would be a short video. What do you think I spent it on? Project Wingman is set on an alternative Earth. At some point in the first half of the 20th century, Yellowstone decides humanity has had it far too good for far too long and explodes, causing tectonic plates the world over to rupture and start a horrible geothermal-based apocalypse. 432 years later, and humanity has mostly recovered to modern technology levels. In some areas, a new geothermal-based material thing called cordium is discovered, which is functionally just super uranium, but instead of being radioactive, it's just inherently unstable and provides huge amounts of geothermal energy. Alongside legally distinct fighter jets like the FD-14 and the SK-37, humans have also decided that only having battleships in the ocean isn't cool enough, so they put them on land and in the sky because, yes. Most importantly, the world of Project Wingman is dominated by mercenaries, guns for hire. You play as a mercenary pilot called Monarch. You are part of Hitman team, along with your two wingmen, Comic and Dip, and your Wizzo, Prez. Hitman team is just one part of the Sicario mercenary corps, but I'll discuss the other elements as they appear. Sicario is mucking about in Florida when they get a call. Some pirates have stolen a cordium engine, and the Federation, which is like, think of them as the equivalent of the UN or something, want it either back or destroyed, so they hire Sicario to do the job for them. Alright, that's more than enough talking, let's get to the cool stuff. And here I want to take a moment to really discuss in detail the first thing I love about Project Wingman, the graphics. It was only while playing the second and third missions that I realised that while the skyscapes aren't as photorealistic as Ace Combat 7's, they don't need to be. In fact, I prefer the skyscapes in Project Wingman. Just look at the sunset over the low cloud, or the dark blue atmosphere with wispy clouds, or the night sky. It looks like it could be a painting. Nowhere is this more true than in the third mission. The skyscape literally does not get better than this, and honestly, the vibes set up by the music match perfectly. The music in the first few missions is quiet. Not like volume-wise, but it's calm. To me, this isn't just stereotypical combat music, it's on the clock but relaxing, and to me, somewhat melancholic. Sicario has a job to do and skills to prove, but the war hasn't kicked off properly yet. The stakes are low and things are quiet, for now. I've loved aviation for more than half of my life now, and it took me playing Project Wingman for me to realise what I love about aviation. It's this. It's how the sky looks like above the clouds. It's the view of the mountain ranges from above the highest peaks in Mission 2. It's how the pink sunrise filters through the snowstorm in Mission 3. It's the dark blue of the stratosphere as you— damn it, wrong game. You get the idea. The scenery is beautiful, and Ace Combat 7's photorealistic skyscapes just don't quite come close. You know what I was just saying about the music? Yeah, it starts to change now. Crosstalk Squadron may be the shortest and least memorable fight in the game, but this is the first time that the music starts to get really interesting. I knew what was coming. I knew that Crosstalk wasn't going to be a hard fight for someone with over 1,000 hours in War Thunder, of which at least 300 are from Sim. But god damn it, I found I had a grin on my face as I heard the music kick up while I turned into the merge. Crosstalk was not a hard fight or a long fight, but it's the first mission in Project Wingman in which I really noticed the music stepping up a notch. You can't make a video on Project Wingman and not talk about the music. It's literally the best part of the game. Every single part of the soundtrack fits perfectly, and I wouldn't change a thing. I've already talked about how the music perfectly fits with the first few missions, but now the player knows how to play, it's time to step things up a notch. Right off the heels of Crosstalk Squadron comes Calamity, the loss of Presidia and the capital of Cascadia. It's a nightmare mission. All you can do is maintain air superiority and hope the guys on the ground make it out mostly alive. And now we get our first real taste of the Project Wingman soundtrack. You get no chance to relax. Both the graphics and the music are on point for the next mission, in which Sicario decides to stop losing the war and go on the offensive. The music perfectly sells the feeling that you are now starting to become an unstoppable force. By now, the player is certainly getting good at this whole aerial combat thing, and this couples perfectly with the fact that you're now on the offensive. The enemy civvies panic as they recognize Monarch's crown symbol. You're starting to make a name for yourself. The friendly radio chatter is casual and laid back. The enemy radio chatter is panicked. The music makes you feel unstoppable. There is no way that this could go wrong, right? Can you see why I like the music? It's the music and radio chatter that lulled you into a false sense of security. Remember Crosstalk's theme? It sounded like it was going to be a very fun fight, and it was. Peacekeeper sounds also like it's going to be a fun fight. For Crimson Team, hell, even the 30-second intro to the song should really start ringing alarm bells. You are no longer the dominant power, leave while you still can. Well, at least you're supposed to leave. While I was getting footage for the video, I managed to trigger the special secret dialogue by shooting one of them down. In a frogfoot. I only intended to see if I could get a missile hit and then leave, but then, one thing led to another, and now I don't have any footage of me leaving the fight. On one hand, it does kind of break the law a little bit that Crimson One couldn't shoot down a tiny little helpless frogfoot, but on the other hand, it does really bring new meaning to the, yeah, he's slippery line. The next two missions have a gimmick in that you only work with one of your two wingmen at a time.
Hey, what about me? Talk to me when you start piloting, Prez. Don't tell me you're not riding coattails. Piss off, you yuppie.
And also Prez if you're flying a two-seater. The seventh mission has an excellent plot, the Coast Guard managing to somehow steal the Federation's newest battleship, and they're now running a Federation blockade. Mission 7, to me, is probably the least best mission in the game. There's nothing really wrong with it, but aside from meeting one of the best characters in the game, there's nothing really to report. The next mission, on the other hand, Clear Skies, is one of the best missions in the game. Everything I said earlier about the scenery and the music applies here. It's another relaxed mission shooting down a Federation transport over what was once called the Rockies. The music is relaxed, and the slightly melancholic motif of the Cascadian military, the Independence Force, is perfect for a calm mission at high altitude for all the reasons I mentioned earlier. I consider this to be the last mission in which this part of the magic of Project Wingman rears its head. From here on in, as the Federation starts losing ground, there's no more need for these beautiful, calm missions at altitude. The first arc of Project Wingman, in which Cascadia is losing, is over. From here, the missions will start to get harder, and you'll have less time to admire the scenery. There's another step up again in the music too. From here, the music is going to be far less of a background vibe to match the scenery and more of an upbeat track to match the mission. And much as I do love the first arc of the game, well, put it this way, I can't be too annoyed. Mission 11 is drawing closer and closer. A big part of the Ace Combat games that Project Wingman is inspired by is the whole making the player feel like an unstoppable killing machine thing. In Ace Combat, the player character often goes from a nobody to, in the case of Ace Combat 4 in particular, pretty much just being Jesus, I wish I was kidding. In this regard, Project Wingman is no different. Remember how in Mission 6 all of the enemy radio chatter was about how scared they were that you were here? By now, Monarch, and by association all of Sicario, has gained a reputation, and the next arc of the game makes you feel invincible. Mission 9. The Independence Force wants to strike a target way down south, but to get to it, they have to fly over a massive Federation air defense network, so they send literally just Monarch. Everyone knows, after all, that a plane can solve any problem, even air defenses specifically built to shoot down planes, but whatever. Monarch is sent to sneakily and stealthily take out the defenses. Stealthily and F-14 Tomcat with infinite missiles don't tend to go in the same sentence, but what the hell. It's like Clear Skies, but instead of a melancholic motif, the music makes you feel just as the mission is called, a wolf in the dark. On to Mission 10. Sicario is sent to strike that target I just talked about last time, you know, the target that we just took an entire air defense grid down for, you know. Look, I'll be honest, I don't have much to say about Mission 10. The music is great, it's actually, a really, really fun mission with a great premise. The reason that it is always forgotten in discussions of the game is because of the mission that follows it. And I'm really sorry, because as good as Mission 10 is, it cannot hold a candle to Mission 11. Maxor put it best, Showdown is Project Wingman. Everything that is good about this game comes together for this one mission. The visuals are among the best in the game. The beautiful clear skies and fluffy clouds combined with the hundreds and hundreds of contrails from jets and missiles alike. The premise is batshit insane, but that's what makes it so strong. Every single fighter from both sides of the war are in the same patch of sky at once. It makes no sense, but that's what makes it amazing. The dialogue is cheesy at times, but I don't care. It makes me feel like I'm the demon lord of the Bering Strait. And that music.
Missiles away! We have any reinforcements? Negative. Necessary combat on the representative inbound. Galaxy, are you sure we can keep the IFF connection stable like this? The cowboy we should pray? Come on, you don't pay me for my job. Who the hell shows this one to lead back to the transports? Come on, you bent bullhards. Continue on.
what can I say? I've never studied music, I don't know if I can do it justice. The soundtrack is perfect, do I need to say more? Showdown is the only song that I can listen to on loop indefinitely and not get tired of. I'm not kidding, I've tried, it's perfect. It's the first song in the game, and honestly it's the only song in the game that makes you feel like you're in a playground. There is no possible way that you can die with a soundtrack like this. Everything, every aspect of this game comes together at once to make Mission 11 not just a fun mission, but the fun mission. It has set a new standard for arcadey flight games that I honestly doubt will ever be matched. The only things I know have become close are Redline from Project Wingman Frontline 59 and maybe Magic Spear from Ace Combat 7, but those are entirely different rabbit holes that I do not have the time or money to go down. And the mission's not even over.
Looks like it's those mercenaries. Think they might turn tail and run again? Not this time.
Yeah, Crimson One makes a showing too. Rather than running away, this time you just have to stay and fight. Much as I really love Crimson's theme here, Peacekeeper 1 Intro B, yeah, I'll be honest, I kind of would have liked it if after that scary intro, Showdown just started blasting again to nail home the whole "you are the dominant power" thing that's been drilled into you throughout the whole mission. But I'm not complaining. How could I?
That's enough. We've sustained too many losses. All elements within the AO. Pull back. I repeat, pull back. Crystal Kingdom has issued a full retreat. Kill me out. Just keep sending reinforcements. Don't take this from me. That's an order. It's a one. We have no more combat effective reinforcements. The transports were all shot down. We're just sending men to die. I won't repeat myself.
And it's over. My god, that mission never gets old. I know the Tomcat isn't a very good plane for the mission, but counterpoint, it's a Tomcat. If Showdown wasn't such a good song, I'd be blasting Mighty Wings instead, and it would still be perfect. I should probably stop talking about Showdown. Yeah, alright. This right here, this is Project Wingman. I don't need to say anything else. It's going to be very difficult to improve on that mission, and thankfully Mission 12 gives us something different. Again, the soundtrack is absolutely incredible. It's more of an upbeat vibe. The Federation are on the back foot now, and Sicario are in their element. In fact, Sicario seems to have become the primary fighting force for Cascadia, a danger that Project Wingman's PlayStation exclusive Frontline 59 shows only too well. But again, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. For now, Hitman is relaxed, and ooh, what's this? Oh cool, a boss fight. I wonder what— oh my god, okay, it has railguns and Seawiz.
He said the thing!
And it's dead. On to the next one.
This is Assassin 1 to all mercenaries. Follow my vector. We're going in with the sun to our backs. Why are you calling the shots, Sicario? Who made you boss? Last I checked, it was Sicario that was in high demand for the rebels, not you. I think you mean your kingmakers. That crown. Don't be vain by association. Visual confirmed. A majority of Task Force 1 is in port. The operation is a go. All aircraft are clear to attack. Engage any and all targets, but make sure those airships are dealt with first. If they start powering up, you'll be in for a world of hurt.
We're bombing Pearl Harbor. Seriously though, from now on the game's story starts to get a fair amount more interesting. Cascadia wants independence from the Federation and has already turned to hiring all the mercenaries they can in order to win. This is a pretty massive sacrifice. The mercenaries they're hiring aren't cheap, and the mercenaries have no loyalty to Cascadia. Think about it. Cascadia has filled its armed forces with soldiers who only stick around so long as Cascadia has the money to pay them. There is no way that this ends well, but enough foreshadowing for now. It's in the next few missions that things start to escalate. Cascadia will do anything for its independence, and the Federation will do anything to ensure that their most profitable aspect stays a part of the Federation. So the Federation attempts to send their best airships to Cascadia, so Cascadian forces do a Pearl Harbor on them as they lie in port in Sawaiki, which is just Hawaii, a neutral Federation state. With no air support and no supplies, the Federation's strength in Cascadia starts to crumble. But if there's one thing you need to know about the Federation, it's that the Federation does not lose. And the Federation is starting to get desperate. They light a forest on fire to try to stop the Cascadian advances, but by this point the Cascadians are so determined that they've stopped listening to reason. Firefighting planes call out at the Cascadians to get out of the way of the fire suppressant drops that they're trying to do.
This is Mercenary Apex Scouts in Volcon. Highly advised we work in tandem with the firefighting aircraft. They can't drop fire suppressants if they're right on top of our troops.
They're probably just in the listening galaxy.
Don't say I didn't try, then. If they want to get up and eat, be my guest. We're still paid by the target.
But the Cascadian forces don't respond. All they do is advance, relentlessly.
Radar lock, take them down. Shutting down firefighters.
The fires are your only cover. If you don't, the rebels will push right through. You want that blood on your hands.
God damn it.
The Federation resorts to trying to shoot down the firefighters, which I'm pretty sure counts as killing civilians, and the Cascadians, incensed by the damage the Federation is doing to their own country, attack the Federation trucks and choppers trying to leave.
What's wrong? Our choppers are backing material and manpower. Open season. Section destroyed. Ground unit knocked out. You need to stay. You're not at capacity. If we don't go now, we're not getting anyone out of here. The clown is here and he's coming to kill us.
You hear Federation chopper pilots over the radio, leaving some of their wounded behind just so that they can get away from Monarch. One of the Cascadian units calls Hitman off of covering the firefighters and retasks you to close air support. There's nothing that the Federation can do anymore. Within minutes, the Federation units all surrender. All of this fire, all of this escalation, all of these blatant war crimes, and all for nothing. The Federation lost all the same. But remember, the Federation does not lose. The Cascadians advance on the city of Prospero. Prospero is a very high concentration of Federation air power, and the Cascadian infantry has been trying to shell them for days to no avail. It's time for Cascadia to call upon their ace in the hole, Sicario, specifically Hitman Team. If Prospero falls, the Federation won't have anything left to retreat to. The war's pretty much over, and once again the music and atmosphere perfectly show this. It's early morning on a clear day, just like the first missions of the game. The music is back to being somewhat calm, slightly melancholic, with motifs from literally the first mission of the game coming back.
All planes, you have takeoff authority. Just get overhead now and maintain your superiority. Fox 2, good separation. Decima, back a bunch of swirling ants down there. What is that? Are these 3 wings red? They take off, they're going to be headed
Both sides have escalated the war so many times in the last few missions. The Federation in particular have escalated the war just short of nuclear annihilation, and now they've lost. And the Federation does not lose.
What happens to us then? I'll take a year off if I had a choice. Command. Send it. Authenticate. Solutions 0816. Authenticate. Blaze.
music picks up as multiple waves of cruise missiles appear on the radar. Observant players, however, will notice one chilling thing about them before they try to engage them. The cruise missiles have not been marked as targets. You aren't expected to shoot enough of them down for it to matter. The Federation could not take back Cascadia. Nobody stands up to the Federation. So Cascadia had to burn. Intentional or not, the cordium-tipped missiles the Federation used caused the tectonic plates to fracture again, causing the Ring of Fire to cook off. The world has been plunged into apocalypse again, all because some Federation bastard decided to escalate the war past the point of no return. This is another reason why I love Project Wingman. It starts off feeling like a small niche game about flight, full of beautiful music and scenery, before it moves on to making you feel like an awesome, unstoppable fighter pilot, before reminding the player what war really means. You can't win a war. No matter what, infrastructure is destroyed and civilian lives are lost. And Project Wingman serves as a word of warning. A warning as to what happens when wars escalate past the point of no return. We are lucky that nukes have only ever been used twice, in a war in which MAD ideology did not exist. Even worse, what I foreshadowed earlier has come to pass. Cascadia can't pay their mercenaries anymore, and mercenaries don't fight for sentimental reasons. Mercenaries don't fight losing wars. And even though the Federation was being thrown through a meat grinder in Cascadia, don't think that that was all the force the Federation had. Remember, the Cascadians had enacted a blockade to stop the Feds getting more forces into Cascadia. That was the whole point of Showdown. Now Cascadia's air force is either dead, on the ground, or running away to the Federation. After all, the Federation is the global power. They have the money. Cascadia has no power anymore. Their country is in ruins, their military is mostly dead, and worst of all, they no longer have a way to pay the mercenaries to keep them in the fight. Most of the mercenaries leave, and Cascadia, desperate to at least have their ace in the hole, offers something to Sicario for them to stay. We don't know what it is. I can only assume it's a signed copy of the Hushkit Book of Warplanes, but either way, it's a deal that they can't come back from. Cascadia has lost everything and is selling their soul to Sicario mercenaries to make sure that they win. What happens when the war ends? Sicario could well end up more powerful than Cascadia. I don't think it will end well. The apocalypse screwed everyone over, including the Federation. And now that the worst of it has calmed down, Cascadia is backing out for blood. The next missions focus on Cascadia trying to pick up from where the war left off. First, they knock out some Federation forces also trying to rebuild, before they take Prospero again. The Fed soldiers are largely demotivated, and it's hard to blame them. They've been cut off from their home for months, forced to survive an apocalypse, and then are thrown under the Hitman team-shaped bus. Well, not all of them are demotivated.
Unsurprising. They always return to the scene of the crime. Tally-ho on 3 bandits. It has to be him. Of course it is. Looks like it's Crimson. Hitman team, engage. I have units in the area aren't in a position to help you out. I'm sorry. Crimson Squadron, engage. Avenge this land. Squadron, engage. Avenge this land.
I haven't talked much about Crimson One yet, have I? He is the poster child of the Federation Air Force. He's the best pilot in the world, till Monarch shows up anyway, and much like the Federation, he does not like losing. He was the one who escalated the war. It was his commander that pressed the button to launch the cruise missiles back in Mission 15. Losing to Monarch in Missions 5 and 11, and now watching his country get beaten back by mercenary scum, has driven him insane, and all he cares about now is killing Monarch. In his eyes, it is the Cascadian mercenaries that are the problem in this war. Crimson One's ego has taken quite a big hit after all this losing. I know this because he doesn't ever shut up about it. He blames Monarch for everything, for forcing him to resort to blowing up the world just to avoid losing. While an interesting point, the way it's presented is really, really annoying, and what follows this bad case of monologuing is one of the most satisfying scenes in video game history.
Just think. How many of you killed my mom? God, just shut up! How dare! Shut up! Nobody asked! You think we asked specifically to fight you? You think I care so much to keep fighting you? For wild dogs, of course. Shut up! Just shut up! Fight us! Don't talk! I don't care! Shut up!
Thanks, Dip. I feel that's exactly what Monarch would have said if he wasn't a silent protagonist.
Hitman 1, locked on. Crimson team is off the radar. Confirm aircraft destruction. Saw it moving from here. He's down. God, what a waste of a pilot. We got on the long range. Any more surprises? It's quite across the board. Yeah, plan to keep moving into Prospero. Alright, good. Hitman team, RTP. We'll see if we can call someone else to cover us for now. Good. I just need to lay down somewhere. Not much longer now. Not much longer.
The Federation is being beaten back on every front and is once again gathering their forces for one last stand in the Cascadian capital of Presidia. The Cascadians still don't have much in the way of air power, pretty much just the few planes they saved from the Apocalypse as well as Sicario. After the Apocalypse, Kaiser, the boss of Sicario, left to find more fighters to make up Sicario's numbers. While they wait for reinforcement, the Cascadians try to re-establish a naval blockade around Presidia, and as they do, the rest of the Federation Navy leaves port. There aren't very many full-blown naval missions in Project Wingman. In fact, I'm pretty sure that this is only the second, and while Eminent Domain was alright, Red Sea is incredible. It's a desperate fight against an entire battle group of ships with full fighter cover. It's a long and hard battle, and just when things start to look bad, okay, I'm sold. Project Wingman needs more naval missions.
I brought everyone I could find. Every freedom fighter, every war junkie, every soldier of fortune. Throughout the world, Cascadia has become a beacon of rebellion against the Federation. And for that, I have gathered an army. They're no Sicario, but it's the best we've got. And the rebels will take everything they can. At first, when taking this job, I thought it was only business. That I could find my glory here. But after all they've done, what they did to us, to Sicario, only blood will pay for this contract now.
All call signs commence the offensive. We are the descendants of those who would not be ruled. Show them what that means.
To all mercenaries, do not count days. Do not count miles. Count only the number of threats you have killed.
Presidia. It's one of the best missions in the game. I know that's something I say a lot, but hell, it's not like Project Wingman is short of good missions. It's a long and hard fight against every type of enemy introduced throughout the game. Soft ground targets like artillery, armoured targets like tanks and aircraft, airships, enemy AWACS who've run out of places to run to, and the remnants of the Federation Navy leaves the port on fire before things finally move onto the city itself. They parked howitzers on skyscrapers. It's a beautiful mission that calls for a variety of skills and maneuvers that you'll have picked up throughout your time in Skies Over Cascadia. And it's not just the enemy variety. When the air war opens up, the dialogue reminds you once again how much power you hold. And that music. I haven't felt emotion like this since Showdown. the dialogue, the variety of enemies popping up only to die at your hand. You truly deserve the tag name of Monarch. Over the course of the game, you have become the king of the war, and if you're mad enough to bring the Tomcat to these last few missions, I do not recommend it, then Prez is your queen. And just as quickly as it all started, Presidia has fallen. Project Wingman has been such an incredible journey. We've gone from the loneliness of flying planes in the beautiful skies of North America and Canada, to making a name for ourselves as Cascadia started to strike back, to becoming a force to be reckoned with and a god of war over the Bering Strait. We went from a no-name mercenary to the vanguard of a desperate country. We fought, watched the world go to hell around us, and kept fighting after the apocalypse, all for a country that doesn't exist. Our character earned his tag name of Monarch, and our Wizzo earned her tag name of President. Project Wingman makes you feel like you single-handedly won a war, makes you feel like a hero. Ace Combat does it too, and there are many games outside of this niche that do it, and to you may do it better. But I'm yet to find one that starts with the quiet loneliness of flight. There may be other pilots flying with you and talking to you over the radio, but to me, the first few missions of Project Wingman make it what it is. The music and the graphics make you feel like you're alone. Just you, a plane, and the infinite expanse of the sky. The Federation never loses, and yet they've lost. A ceasefire has been declared. It's over. There will be no more escalation, no more war crimes, no more death. Not from a military power, anyway. But vengeance? Vengeance is another matter entirely.
What? Our warnings are going off. Who's ever doing this better cease fire. The war's off. I'm not getting anything on our warnings. What's going on? Hands on a swivel, now. All of us. We've been spiked. Red sector. I'm poking dope. Contact. Faded. I see ya. Break. You're a slave to history. Even after calamity, you fight against the only order that can guarantee the safety of your people. You solely are responsible for this.
People have said that Presidia would have been the perfect end to Project Wingman. Presidia tied everything together nicely and was a perfect ending to the game. To some, having everyone's least favourite monologue enjoyer raise everything to the ground just for one last shot at Monarch is a jarring excuse to have a discount Pixie-esque boss fight at the end of the game. Not to me. My only problem is that we last saw Crimson One on fire above an active volcano. There's no way he should be alive. But other than that, I actually rather like the ending of Project Wingman. For one, Kings is one hell of a track, but you know, come on, at this point were you really expecting otherwise? Consequence of Power showed us the consequences of a nuclear warfare, and Kings remind us exactly what it means. A victory we worked so hard to achieve is gone in the blink of an eye. Millions more dead, all because one man couldn't accept that he'd lost. One man wanted one last desperate chance to win the war. Because of this one single decision, millions more will die. This is war. The few people at the top have to make decisions that will kill millions, and Crimson One is the extreme of this. Someone who has forgotten the weight behind his decisions. Someone who has become blind to the suffering that they will cause. This is a very dangerous person to be in control of a nuclear warhead. And as for the incessant ranting, most of it is just simply Crimson projecting all his problems onto Monarch. He's clearly insane, and I don't mind it. If anything, it riles me up and motivates me to shoot down the arrogant bastard faster. But he has a point to some of his ranting. When he says that Monarch drove him to this, that Monarch is the reason for all this death and destruction. Monarch has been portrayed as a god of war, able to turn any battle in his favour. But if Monarch had never gotten involved, Cascadia would have lost the war very quickly. but Presidia would still be standing. Prospero's volcano would be inactive. Millions would still be alive, billions would not have been affected. Cascadia got its independence in the end. In the process, it has been made a husk of its former self. Cascadia sold its soul to the mercenaries, to Monarch, and now they have nothing. No infrastructure, no military, no economy, nothing. Crimson One is a ranting genocidal maniac, but he has a point. Was it worth all this death and destruction and genocide just for Cascadia to get its independence? Would it not have been better for everyone if Cascadia had continued to be a part of the Federation? Surely having your natural resources taken and shipped away for no benefit to you would at least be better than everyone being dead. And that is Project Wingman. I've said everything I needed to say. It's one hell of a game, and I fully recommend playing it yourself. Just use a controller or buy a HOTAS or something. It's definitely worth it. Just don't use a keyboard. Thanks for watching. I would love to do all this all over again for the spin-off, but Sony made it a PS5 exclusive, so I can't play it until it comes to PC. If it ever comes to PC, Sony, it's been more than a year. Please port it to PC. I will buy it and play it. Maybe I could do one for Ace Combat 7. Crimson One is obviously not talking sense. I'm not trying to argue otherwise. No, I am trying to argue. Hang on a minute. Am I trying to argue otherwise or aren't I? No, I am trying to argue otherwise, aren't I? Crimson One is obviously not talking sense. Am I arguing otherwise or am I not arguing otherwise? Crimson One is obviously talking sense. No, he's obviously not talking sense. I'm trying to argue... No, I'm not trying to argue otherwise. Okay. Crimson One is not making sense. I'm not trying to argue otherwise. Yes, okay. Why did I do that? The script was perfect. Crimson One is not...